The pod that fell from the sky the desert was silent, just dry wind, sand, and the distant cry of a lonely bird. Jace walked alone, boots crunching on cracked earth. He wore a dusty coat, patched together with old fabric and metal clips. In his hand, he held a scanner. It beeped slowly, searching for anything valuable. Suddenly, the scanner screamed. Jace stopped. A bright red light blinked on the screen. He looked up. Something burned across the sky. A glowing object, fast, loud, and trailing smoke, ripped through the clouds and slammed into the ground just beyond the rocky hill. The earth shook. Jace ducked, heart racing. "What the hell was that?" he whispered. His instincts told him to run the other way. But he didn't. Scavengers like him lived for moments like this. Something from the sky meant alien tech, and alien tech meant big money. He ran toward the crash. When he reached the top of the hill, he froze. In the middle of a crater sat a strange pod, round, black, and pulsing with dim blue lights. Steam hissed out from small vents. The metal shell was cracked. Something was alive inside. "This is not normal," Jace muttered. He slowly stepped closer, gripping his tool like a weapon. The pod clicked. Then it opened. A long hiss escaped as the metal sides peeled back like petals. Inside was a woman, but not human. She was tall, maybe 7 feet. Her skin was smooth and pale silver, her eyes bright violet. Strange markings covered her arms and chest, glowing softly like ink under moonlight. She wore tight armor that was torn and burned. But what struck Jace most were the metal cuffs on her wrists and ankles. She was chained like a prisoner. She opened her eyes. Jace took a step back. The woman looked at him, then whispered something in a soft, shaking voice. "Are you human?" He nodded slowly. "Yeah. What are you?" Her lips trembled. She tried to sit up but groaned in pain. Her arms were shaking. "I'm not here to harm. Please, don't leave me." "Why were you in that pod?" Jace asked, confused and cautious. She looked away, ashamed. "I was made for one thing," she said quietly, "to give birth to a warrior's bloodline." Jace blinked. "What?" "They designed me, my body, my mind, all to carry strong children for their empire." Her voice broke. "But I ran. I couldn't take it anymore. I escaped. I crashed here. They will come. They always come." Jace stared at her. This was insane. Was she telling the truth, or was this a trick? Before he could answer, a loud screech echoed through the sky. They both looked up. A shadow moved in the clouds, fast, black, and shaped like a spear. "They found me," she said, eyes wide with fear. "Please don't let them take me back." Jace didn't know what to do. He was just a scavenger, not a soldier, not a hero. But something in her voice shook him. Not fear, not weakness, but strength, desperate and real. He grabbed her hand. "Come on, we need to hide." She tried to stand, stumbled, but he caught her. Even weak, her body felt powerful, like it was made of steel under silk. Together they ran toward the canyon. Behind them, the alien ship began to land. The woman looked back once and whispered, "If they take me, they'll turn me into a tool again." Jace tightened his grip on her arm. "Not if I can help it." They disappeared into the shadows just as the enemy touched down, hunted for her womb. The wind howled through the canyon, carrying the sound of engines and something else, something darker. Jace and the alien woman crouched behind the rocks, hidden in shadow. The ship had landed on the ridge above them. Black, silent, like a beast that hunted in darkness. Its light scanned the sand. Small flying drones floated out, spreading fast like a swarm of insects. The woman pressed herself against the stone wall, her breathing shallow. "They're not soldiers," she whispered. "They're harvesters." Jace looked at her. "What does that mean?" Her eyes met his. Something in them had changed, harder now, sharper. "They don't come to kill," she said. "They come to take." Before Jace could ask more, a sharp, blue beam swept across the canyon. They ducked just in time. The woman gritted her teeth. "They can smell me. They built me to be found." Jace scanned the rock wall, searching for a path. They had to move fast. "Can you walk?" "I have to," she said. She pushed herself up. Blood ran from a wound on her side, dark purple and glowing. Jace wrapped an old cloth around it, trying not to show fear. She didn't flinch. Her body was stronger than it looked, and it already looked strong. "What's your name?" he asked as they climbed deeper into the canyon. She was silent for a moment. Then she answered softly, "Sarah." He nodded. "I'm Jace." They moved quickly, shadows above them dancing as drones searched the cliffs. Jace led her to an old tunnel, one he'd used as a boy when he used to hide from storms. "It's tight, but it should keep us safe for now," he said. They slipped inside. The light faded. Darkness swallowed them. Sarah leaned against the wall, finally allowing her body to rest. Her armor had cracked, her shoulders bled. Jace lit a small lamp from his pack. Its soft orange glow lit her face. "You said they built you," Jace said. "Why?" Sarah looked down at her hands, scarred, metallic at the joints. "I was created in the vats of the Syndicate," she said. "They needed strong mothers. Warriors were dying in their wars, so they made us. Engineered women. We don't age, we don't get sick, we don't say no." She closed her eyes. "They call us the Cradle Caste." Jace felt sick. "So they just use you?" "Yes," she whispered. "Our children are bred to fight. Our bodies are altered to survive the strain of birth. I've never seen the sky until today." Jace sat back. He'd seen many terrible things on this broken world, but this was different. "Why me?" he asked. "Why did you come to me?" Sarah opened her eyes. "Because your blood is ancient," she said. "And the warriors of the old world, the real ones, shared blood with humans once. Your kind was part of our army, before the fall." "I don't understand," Jace muttered. "You don't have to," she said. "Only know this. I carry the last seed, and if they take me, they will force it into a machine." Outside, something slammed onto the ground, heavy. Close. Jace and Sarah froze. Footsteps, not human ones. Thick, slow, armored. A voice echoed through the canyon, sharp and deep, speaking in a language Jace couldn't understand. Sarah whispered, "That's the handler." "The what?" "The one who controls us. He smells my genes. He's marked me since birth." The footsteps grew louder. Jace's heart pounded. He pulled out a pulse knife, half broken, low on charge. "We can't stay," he said. But Sarah didn't move. Her hand reached to her stomach. "They triggered the bond," she said. "They're trying to force my body into cycle. They want me ready to carry a child before they take me." Jace stared at her. "What do we do?" She looked into his eyes, more pain in hers than he could bear. "You have to help me fight," she said. "I don't want to be a slave anymore." Outside, the handler roared. It wasn't a voice. It was a command. And it echoed across the canyon. Sarah stood, blood on her arms, but her face full of fire. "They think I'm weak," she growled, "because they made me to carry, not to fight." She stepped out of the tunnel. Jace grabbed her arm. "You'll die. Then I die free." But before she could go, Jace stood beside her. "No," he said. "You won't die alone." The bloodline awakens. The stars looked cold above the canyon, but Jace felt fire in his chest. They had escaped the handler, for now. The alien drones lost their trail in the rock maze, but Jace knew it wouldn't last. They would track them again. They always did. Sarah walked ahead, her tall figure lit by the moon. She didn't speak. She moved like a warrior now, calm, focused. Not the broken prisoner she had been when she first stepped out of the pod. But something about her had changed, and Jace felt it too. It started earlier that night when she touched his shoulder during their escape. A strange pulse had passed through him, warm, electric, ancient. He still felt it in his blood. They climbed higher into the mountain pass, away from the crash site and deeper into the wilds. Jace led them toward a place he had only heard about. The ruins of Outpost E7, an abandoned human science station from the old war. "We'll find shelter there," he said. Sarah didn't answer. "You okay?" he asked. She stopped walking, slowly turned. "Jace," she whispered. "Something is waking up inside me." He stepped closer, worried. "What do you mean?" She grabbed his arm, not roughly, but firm. Her fingers burned against his skin. "When I touched you back there, your blood answered mine." Jace blinked. "My blood?" "Your DNA," she said, breathing heavy. "You carry the blood of the first pact, the forgotten alliance between your kind and mine. They tried to erase it. But in you, it survived." Jace took a step back. This was too much. He was just a scavenger, born in dust and rust. Nothing more. "That can't be," he said. "I'm nobody." Sarah's eyes glowed faintly. "Not to me." She held her stomach. "And now, the bond is real." "What bond?" Sarah's voice trembled. "I was made to breed a warrior. Only one kind of human could activate that process. A genetic match from the original bloodline. And you are that match." Jace stared at her. "Are you saying?" "Yes," she whispered. "My body has begun the process. I'm changing. The child. It's not just a theory anymore, it's real. And it's already inside me." The wind fell silent. Jace felt like the earth dropped beneath his feet. "Wait, we didn't know," she said quickly. "It didn't require that. Our touch was enough. It was always coded into my design. The syndicate built us to respond instantly to our genetic pair." Jace sat down on a rock, shaking his head. "This is insane," he muttered. "I didn't ask for this." "I know," Sarah said, "and I didn't ask to be born in a lab. But we don't have a choice now. The bloodline is active. And if they find me again, they will tear the child from me before it's even alive." A low hum echoed in the distance. Both of them turned. Blue. Lights moved far below in the valley. Not drones, vehicles, land crawlers, armored. The syndicate was closing in. Sarah's face turned cold. "We don't have much time." They kept moving faster now. Finally, just before dawn, they found the ruins. Outpost E7 was a metal skeleton, rusted and half buried in the mountain. Its towers had collapsed. Wires hung like vines. But beneath the surface, power still flickered. Jace knew where to look. They entered through a broken hatch moving deep underground. The walls still hummed with old energy. Screens blinked. Sealed doors creaked open. "This place used to test hybrid tech," Jace explained. "They wanted to mix human soldiers with alien traits." "Then this place remembers me," Sarah said. Quietly, they found a small chamber. Medical. Still functional. Sarah sat down, breathing hard. Her skin glowed faintly now. Her body was truly changing. Jace activated the med scanner. A green light passed over her. On the screen, the words appeared. "Genetic match. Confirmed development stage. 12% bloodline signature. Awakened." Jace read it again and again. It was true. She was carrying something alive. Part of her. Part of him. "They'll never stop coming, will they?" he asked. "No," Sarah said. "Not until the bloodline is destroyed or controlled." "Then we'll make a new plan," Jace said. Sarah looked at him. "Why are you helping me?" she asked. "Because you're not a tool," he said. "You're not some machine for them to use, and I don't want this child to be born in a cage." Tears welled in her eyes, but she didn't cry. She held his hand. Outside, metal claws touched down on the ridge. The syndicate had arrived. The lab of lost breeders. The walls were cold metal, humming softly with energy too old to trust. Jace and Sarah stood in the heart of Outpost E7, deep underground. Thick cables hung from the ceiling. Broken screens flickered with old data. Somewhere far above, the syndicate's land crawlers moved, in the valley scanning the mountain with slow, deadly precision. But down here, was a different kind of danger. "This place is too quiet," Jace whispered. Sarah nodded. "Not dead. Just waiting." The scanner in Jace's hand beeped again. They followed the signal deeper into the station. Walls around them shifted. Old systems waking up for the first time in decades. The air smelled like dust, metal, and something else. Something alive. They passed through a heavy door. It opened slowly with a groan. Inside, rows of pods lined the walls, hundreds of them. Tall glass tanks filled with pale green fluid. And inside each one, a woman. But they weren't moving. Sarah walked closer. Her face grew pale. "They were like me," she whispered. "Engineered, tested." Jace stepped beside her. He looked at the label under the first pod. Unit, Row 44B, failed carrier, cell breakdown, 13th cycle, terminated, another one, Unit, 56C, genetic rejection, psychological collapse. Jace's throat tightened. These weren't soldiers. They were prisoners, tools. They left them here to rot, he said. Sarah touched the glass. Her hand trembled. "No," she whispered. "They never gave them a choice. They were bred, programmed, and discarded." They moved further in. At the end of the hall was a single pod still powered. Lights steady, heart monitor active. A woman floated inside. Not dead, alive. Sarah read the data. Unit number 01A, prime prototype. Status, stasis. Intelligence level, preserved. Control risk, maximum. "This is the first," she said. "The original." Jace stared at the woman. She looked like Sarah, but older, sharper, stronger. "Can we wake her?" he asked. Sarah hesitated. "We might not want to." Before they could decide, alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the ceiling. Intrusion detected syndicate life forms approaching defense systems. "Online. They found us," Jace said, gripping his knife. Sarah stepped forward. "Wait, this place has old defenses. We can use them." She placed her hand on the console. Her skin glowed, and the system reacted. Identity match. Breeder cast. Active defense override granted. Metal doors slammed shut above them. Laser grids activated in the tunnels. Robotic turrets unfolded from the ceiling. The base was alive again. "You just took control," Jace said, surprised. Sarah looked him in the eyes. "I was built to obey this place. Now I command it." But then, a loud voice echoed through the station. Calm but cold. "Unit 001A detected. Bloodline signature located. Override access revoked." Jace turned to the pod. The original breeder, the prototype, opened her, eyes bright red, glowing. Aware. The glass cracked. Alarm screamed. "She's waking up," Sarah said. "That's bad, right?" Jace asked. Sarah didn't answer. She backed away slowly. The pod shattered. The woman stepped out. Her body shimmered with silver armor that formed itself around her. She looked at Jace. Not with curiosity, but with hunger. "You carry the seed," she said in a voice too smooth to be human. "He's not yours," Sarah said, stepping between them. The prototype smiled. "He belongs to the line, not to you." Sarah's hands lit with energy. "I'm not your servant. I'm your successor." The prototype tilted her head. "Then prove you're worthy." She moved like lightning. Sarah blocked the first blow, barely. The force cracked the wall. Jace jumped back as the two alien women clashed, energy against energy, fists and fire, speed and strength. They fought like two storms trapped in a box. Jace watched, unsure what to do. If he stepped in, he'd die. But as they fought, the prototype's voice hissed into his mind. "You could be more human. Leave her. I can make you a king." "Get out of my head," Jace shouted. Sarah heard him, and something snapped. Her eyes glowed bright white. Her fists burned. She struck the prototype with a scream, one filled with rage, pain, and freedom. The prototype hit the wall and didn't get up. Sarah fell to her knees, panting. Jace ran to her, holding her shoulders. "Are you okay?" She nodded weakly. "She's not dead. Just stunned." The lab began to shake. Systems collapsing. "We have to go," Jace said. They escaped through the emergency hatch. The station behind them lit with red fire and shut itself down. "Forever," as they ran into the sunrise, Sarah whispered. "I'm not just a breeder anymore." Jace looked at her proud. "You're a warrior." Trial of the last warrior. The mountains were quiet. Too quiet. Jace and Sarah walked through sharp rocks and dust, far from the burning ruins of Outpost E7. Behind them, the syndicate still searched, angry, relentless, hunting. Ahead of them stood an old stone gate half buried in the cliffs, forgotten by time. It didn't look like much, just a cracked arch with strange symbols. But Sarah stopped walking. Her face turned pale. "This is the place," she said. "The trial site." Jace looked around. "Trial for what?" "For you," she whispered. The gate opened with a deep grinding sound, like ancient bones shifting. A blue light poured from inside. Jace stepped forward, but Sarah grabbed his hand. "This is where they test the bloodline," she said, "to prove if you're worthy of the warrior's legacy." "You think I'll pass?" he asked, trying to sound brave. She looked into his eyes. "I don't know. No human has entered since the war ended." Jace took a deep breath and stepped through the gate. The light swallowed him. Inside, everything changed. No more rocks, no more wind. He stood in a black space, endless, cold, silent. Then, a voice echoed. "You carry the warrior's spark. But can you survive the memory?" Flames rose around him. Then, he wasn't Jace anymore. He wore ancient armor, a burning sword in his hand. A battlefield stretched before him, filled with alien creatures, flying machines, and massive beasts. He was in the past. The trial had begun. Jace was thrown into battle again and again, against shadows, monsters, and visions. A failure. He bled, he fell, but he rose each time. Each enemy whispered the same words. "You're just a scavenger. You don't belong in our war. You're not a father. You're a mistake." But Jace shouted back, "I'm more than what I was born into." The space around him cracked. He saw images of Sarah, chained, crying, fighting. He saw the child, still forming, glowing in her womb. And finally, he saw himself, not in armor, not with weapons, but holding the child, smiling. "Don't fight for power," he said. "I fight to protect." The trial space exploded in light. He dropped to his knees back in the real world. Sarah ran to him. "You're alive." He nodded, weak, sweating. "I think I passed." Behind them, the stone gate closed. A small mark had appeared on Jace's arm, a glowing circle with a star inside. Sarah touched it gently. "You are the last warrior," she said. "The bloodline is now complete." But before they could rest, a loud boom shattered the air. Black ships appeared in the sky, dozens of them. "They found us again," Jace said. Sarah's expression turned cold. "They won't stop until they take the child." She stood tall, her body glowing, armor forming across her arms and legs. "Then we fight," she said. "Together," Jace added, pulling her close. They turned to face the storm of ships above, and deep inside Sarah's body, the unborn child pulsed with light, stronger now. More alive than ever, they want the child. The sky turned black, not from clouds, but from ships. They came without warning. Dark as night, shaped like knives, flying in perfect silence. Syndicate carriers, hunters, harvesters. Hundreds of them, surrounding the mountains like wolves around a dying deer. Sarah stood on the cliff's edge, her eyes burning like stars. The wind pushed her silver hair back and her hands rested protectively over her stomach. Inside her, the child stirred again. Stronger. Faster. "They're here for the child," she said. Jace stepped beside her, holding the old pulse rifle he had repaired just hours before. It hummed weakly in his hands. "We knew this day was coming," he said. "But we're not giving up." Sarah looked at him. Her voice trembled, only slightly. "They don't want to kill the child, Jace. They want to claim it, control it, raise it as a weapon. The first true hybrid born of choice, not programming." Jace gritted his teeth. "Then we make sure that never happens." They moved fast, heading into the abandoned human defense bunker nearby, a secret base once built to fight off alien invasions, now silent and dust-covered. Sarah activated the old systems with her touch. The base came to life. Turrets unfolded from steel walls. Shields powered up with a slow electric hum. A hollow map lit up the command screen. Red dots everywhere. They were surrounded. "We'll never outrun them now," Jace said, checking ammo clips. "And we sure as hell can't outgun them." Sarah stood still, her eyes on the map. "Then we buy time," she said. "Just enough for the child to finish forming. Its body is almost ready, but it needs more time." Jace looked at her. "How much time?" "Less than a day," she said. "Maybe hours." Then came the voice, a deep signal broadcasted across the frequency. "Return the breeder, return the unborn, or be erased." The voice was cold, calm, not a threat, but a command. Sarah stared into the sky. "And then," she answered. She stepped to the terminal and pressed the comm link. Her voice echoed back. "This child is not yours. It belongs to no empire. You were made to serve." The voice replied. "You are a tool. The bloodline must be secured." Sarah's voice hardened. "Then come try." The sky erupted. The first wave dropped in, giant armored creatures with pulse cannons for arms, landing like meteors. They advanced without emotion, scanning for Sarah's genetic signal. Jace took position at the east gate. Sarah walked to the west, hands crackling with light. As the invaders closed in, Jace whispered to himself, "Just hold the line." The battle began. Turrets fired beams into the sky. The mountains shook with explosions. Sarah moved like lightning, faster than Jace had ever seen. She no longer looked like a prisoner or a lab-grown woman. She looked like a queen of war. With every movement, her energy bent reality. Jace shot down drones and soldiers, his heart racing, but his focus locked on her. She wasn't fighting for herself anymore. She was fighting for her child, and for him. But then, one of the enemy soldiers slipped past the defense lines, fast, unseen. It reached the inner chamber, the one sealed by codes. Sarah felt it. She turned and screamed, "They're inside!" Jace ran toward the vault, heart hammering. Inside, a cold robotic voice repeated, "Initiating extraction protocol." Removing subject from breeder vessel, genetic match confirmed. A machine hovered over Sarah's unconscious body. Her knees had buckled. The child was ready. And now, they wanted to steal it. Jace burst through the door. He had no time to think. He fired. Again. Again. Until the extraction drone exploded in a burst of sparks and blood. Sarah gasped awake. Jace grabbed her. "They almost took it," she said, eyes wide with terror. I felt it being pulled. "Not while I'm alive," Jace growled. He picked her up and carried her to the command room. Outside, more ships were coming. They were losing ground, but suddenly, Sarah screamed. A blinding white light poured from her body. "It's happening," she cried. "The birth, it's beginning." Jace didn't know what to do. He sealed the command room, locked down the gates, and held her hand. "I'm here," he said. "You're not alone." The base shook as the enemy forces gathered, outside but inside. Something else was being born. Something the galaxy had not seen in thousands of years. Not a weapon, not a clone, but a child of choice. And the world would never be the same again. Born in battle, bound by love, the mountain shook like a dying beast. Outside the bunker, syndicate warships circled like vultures. Drones dropped like steel rain. Fire lit up the sky. Explosions echoed through the canyons. The enemy didn't care about survivors. They only wanted one thing: the child. Inside the command room, Jace knelt beside Sarah. Her body trembled, soaked in sweat and light. The room glowed white, then red, then white again, pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. "It's too fast," she whispered. "It wasn't supposed to happen here, not like this." "You're not alone," Jace said. "I've got you." But even he could feel it. The energy building inside her was not just life. It was power. Pure. Ancient. Dangerous. The child was not just being born. It was awakening. Minutes earlier, before the vault sealed, the Syndicate had sent their strongest unit, a Prime Enforcer, a 9-foot Titan with fusion blades and armor forged in black suns. It now stood outside the command gate, cutting through the last of the defense systems. "Open the vault," it ordered, but the AI voice replied, "Command locked. Breach attempt will trigger extinction protocol." The Enforcer didn't care. It began cutting. "Now!" Sarah screamed again. Her hands burned with light. "Something's wrong," she gasped. "He's too powerful, too aware. He sees everything." Jace gripped her shoulder. "You mean the baby?" "Yes," she whispered, eyes glowing. "He's looking at me, from the inside, like he's already older than he should be." The lights in the room flickered. Jace looked around. Screens cracked. Steel panels warped. The baby wasn't just waking up. It was bending reality around it. "Sarah, what if he's not ready for this world?" "No," she said through gritted teeth. "He's ready. He just needs a reason to stay." A loud crash echoed behind them. The Prime Enforcer had broken through the vault door. Its eyes locked on Sarah's body. Target located. Breeder compromised, proceeding with extraction. It raised its weapon. Jace stood in front of Sarah. "You're not touching them," he growled. "You are not a threat." The Enforcer replied coldly. But before it could move, the lights exploded. A wave of white energy blasted outward. It threw Jace across the room. But he wasn't harmed. The Enforcer, however, was frozen mid-stride, body shaking, armor cracking, and in the center of the room, the light took shape, a small form floating above the ground. The child had been born, but not in blood, not in pain, in power. The baby opened glowing eyes, calm, knowing. It reached one tiny hand forward, and the Enforcer simply stopped. Its body crumbled. Its core went dark. The child had not attacked it. He had simply unmade it. Sarah sat up slowly, weak but alive. "He's beautiful," she whispered. Jace crawled to her side, staring at the floating child. "What is he?" Sarah looked at him, tears in her eyes. "He's not just ours. He's the galaxy's next chapter." The child slowly floated into her arms. His light faded into a soft glow. He looked like any normal infant now, but Jace knew better. This child had chosen to be born in the fire, to protect, to love. The next day. The next. The Syndicate vanished without a trace. Their ships stopped responding. Their drones shut down. Their war ended. Without a word. Some whispered of a weapon that made war itself meaningless. Others spoke of a child who saw the future and decided mercy was better. Jace didn't care what they said. He only cared about one thing. His family. Sarah recovered quickly, stronger than before. The scars on her back faded. Her eyes remained bright, and the child, whom they named Kale, grew fast. He smiled within a day, spoke in weeks, walked in months, but his heart stayed pure because he wasn't born to conquer. He was born in battle, but bound by love.